This is Smith & Wesson 637 versus Taurus Model 85 versus Smith & Wesson Model 36, a comparison. Let's hit the range. The Smith & Wesson Model 637 is a 38 Special Plus P 5-shot snub-nose revolver. It weighs in at 14.6 ounces, has a barrel length of 1.875 inches. It has an aluminum alloy frame with a stainless steel barrel as well as a stainless steel cylinder, and is a single action, double action snub-nose revolver. It has your traditional low-profile blade and groove snub-nose revolver sights. We're shooting the Performance Center edition here today, which has the wood grip as well as a improved single action and double action trigger for both smoothness and a lighter trigger pull. I think it's probably how the gun should come out the box, and the Performance Center one should probably be even better, but that's just my opinion. And now let's shoot the Taurus. The Taurus Model 85 is a 5-shot 38 revolver featuring either a 2 or 3-inch barrel. The model we're shooting here today is a 2-inch barrel that has the stainless steel frame, cylinder, and, as I said, the 2-inch barrel. Now, I believe it weighs in around 21 ounces, but I'm not 100% on that. This is an older gun, and it's been, quite a few different versions have been released since this one came out. This one's more than 35 years old. It does have some aftermarket Pachmayr grips that are probably 35 years old themselves, though, like 38 Special snub-nose revolvers, it does come with the traditional blade and groove low profile snub-nose sights that we're going to see again here in just a moment. The Smith & Wesson Model 36, or Chief Special, is a 38 5-shot snub-nose revolver. It weighs in at 19.5 ounces and has a barrel length of 1.875 inches. Now, the barrel and frame are carbon steel as well as the cylinder. Now, this is a single action, double action revolver, the same as the other two. And same as before, it has those same low profile blade and groove snub-nose revolver sights. Now let's get to what I'd call the pluses and minuses of each of these. The 637 is what I'd probably call the Chief Special 2.0. It is an airweight gun. It's very light. It's very easy to conceal, which the same goes for all the other three. They're all very easy to conceal, but this is the lightest of them by far. And when I bought this gun, I really didn't consider that. I had been looking for a snub nose for quite a while, and when I saw this one, it was actually on sale for a great deal, and I'm like, sold! And then I went and I shot it, and I was like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have got air weight. And I should have learned that lesson, because I'd actually, a little before buying this gun, I had the LCR, and I remember shooting that gun, and basically it was very unpleasant to shoot, and not being a fan of the trigger. And when I bought this, I was like, this is a little heavier gun. It's only, I don't know, an ounce and a half heavier, so really not that much heavier. And it really doesn't shoot any more pleasant, in my opinion. That lightness really is noticeable when shooting this gun, even with just vanilla low recoil 38. Now, as I said, this is the Performance Center edition of the gun, so it does have an improved trigger on it. which I think, as I said, that's how it should come anyway. But at around $449, where I found this gun priced, I think that's probably where it should be, and it's a good buy around there if you can get past the what I consider unpleasant recoil of this gun. To me, it's unpleasant to shoot. It's not one that I'm going to take to the range every weekend and just have fun with. Really, when I practice with it, it's because I know I need to practice with it, not because I want to. So that's what I'll say about this gun. It is, well built. It's light. It does have a very nice light trigger on it. Both single action and double action are very good. The sights are what they are. So anyway, there's my thoughts on the 637. Now the Taurus Model 85, this is one that we added in, for one thing, this gun has always been a good gun for us, but also because we wanted to show what I would say easier on the wallet, budget-friendly option. The Smith & Wesson Airweight that we showed previously, you probably are going to find anywhere from $399 to, I'm going to guess, $550 nowadays with how prices are inflated. This Model 85, we're going to call it a used, because it is a used gun. It's well over 30 years old. So if you were looking at considering, maybe your budget affords a used gun, what can you get for a used, even say a Taurus, which in some circles doesn't have the best reputation, and others, it's probably all right. In my experience with them, they're not half bad. With budget guns, you get, budget materials and budget quality, so you got to keep that in mind. But at the same time, you can get something that works well, that'll work reliably, and that will perform when you need it to perform. Though I will say, like with anything, be it a high-end gun, a budget gun, or something middle of the road, always make sure you practice with it, you test it, and you verify it works to meet your needs before you try to deploy it in whatever situation you're trying to. Now this Taurus, it's probably the heaviest of the three guns. The trigger is actually not half bad. It's actually pretty good. And I don't know if that's just because it's an older gun or these guns in general are not half bad in that regard. But it's a very shootable gun. I have no problem hitting the targets with it. I know people that can shoot this gun out 20, 30 yards and be every bit as accurate as I can with a full-size gun. So it is, for what you can get at this price range, this one certainly represents a very good option. And I'm going to guess you can find it today anywhere from $149 to $299 depending on the quality. And I'll stress that's just a guess. I really have no idea what these would be priced because I don't really see them that often. But again, I do think it is one that's representative of a used budget gun that you would see, and I think you should consider, if that's what your budget affords. Now moving on to the Model 36, I'll say this is one that is a classic. It might even have classic in its model name at this point. It's anyone who's watched a classic like Law and Order style TV show or an older movie with police, detectives, whatever, you've seen this gun, you're familiar with this gun. It might as well be up there with like the Peacemaker in the 1911. This Chief Special 38 is basically an iconic gun, I think, in my opinion. Now that being said, the thing that surprises me about it is it's what I would call the high-end model in this comparison video. I think these go for around $799 today, which sounds like a lot for a little 5-shot pocket 38 special. You can find a lot of other high-quality guns at that price range that are full-size with a lot of features that are desirable, like red dot sights and compensators and extended magazines and flat face triggers, and you name it, they probably got it at that price range. Does that mean I think it's a bad buy at that price? No, I think it's actually worth that. This is a high quality gun that is actually surprisingly mild on the recoil for a gun that size, and is very surprising on the accuracy. There are very few guns I can hit targets at the range with this I can. Never mind guns this small. I think maybe my Glock 42 is only one that I can do better at in some cases, which is saying something. Whatever it is about this Chief model size gun, things just line up right for it. And it's not just me. Everyone that I know who's actually shot this gun, they just shoot it well in general. It's just a well-made, well-proportioned gun for what it does. It's hard to argue with that, and it just works. That's probably why it's lasted as long as it has. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about a couple things that are actually appealing about a revolver. Now, yes, you do not have near the capacity of something even like an LCP Max with its 10 rounds. At 5 rounds, with your little snubby, you're not going to be in a John Woo movie, right? I mean, you're limited in that regard. But on the flip side, you can have a gun that is very reliable, that even if you have a misfire, you can still pull the trigger and your next round may more than likely go off. And if it doesn't, you can pull the trigger again, and that next one is probably going to go off. Repeat. Now, you do have that. You can also do things like, and I do not, of course, advocate for this, but it's one of the things they always say about a revolver is you can fire it from a pocket, and it's not going to jam on you. Now, for me, the biggest appeal of a revolver as either your carry gun, your bedside gun, your home defense gun is that it is very easy to tell when it is loaded and when it's not loaded. If I want to know when my Smith & Wesson is not loaded, I just swing the cylinder out, and now it is not loaded. I've lost count of the number of times I've had someone hand me an automatic that they thought was unloaded because they dropped the magazine, and I've worked the slide and had a live round pop out the chamber at me. And that's a scary thought, of thinking the number of people who think just dropping the magazine makes their gun safe, which, as we all know, or we should all know, that's not the case. So I do think that added safety layer of being able to open up a cylinder and know that your gun is either loaded or unloaded, or keep it safe in that regard, is one area where we'll say people overlook. Right? I think you cannot undervalue that aspect. There's a simplicity to being able to open the cylinder and unload your firearm that an automatic will just never have, in my opinion. It's hard to go wrong with simplicity as far as safety is concerned. Now we're going to go through our classic comparison shots, and we're going to use the air weight as a measuring stick. Now these are very similar in size, so really the only difference in my book is weight, which you can't really appreciate in a picture. So while we're looking and comparing these guns, I'll answer the question of which I think these is better in the way that if I had infinite budget and all three were in store, I'd buy the Model 36. It's heavier, it has the mild recoil, a good enough trigger, it's very accurate. It's just a nice combination of all the things I would look for in a carry revolver. If I was on a budget and budget conscious and I wanted something worked that was reliable, that was accurate, and still mild on the recoil, I'd go with the Taurus. It's good enough. It does its job. Might not be the prettiest horse in the game, might not have the fanciest name in the book, but it works. It works well enough, gets the job done, and hey, there's something to be said about works and with mild recoil. Now, if I was concerned about having the lightest gun possible and the best trigger possible, I'd go with the Airweight Smith & Wesson from the Performance Center. It certainly has those things in its favor. Very nice trigger, very light gun. To me, it's my least favorite because it's an unpleasant gun for me to shoot. I mean, it's on the verge of painful to shoot for me. The recoil is at that level. But there's a certain segment of people that will say, I'm willing to sacrifice discomfort for maximum concealability and ease of use. And I can appreciate that. That's their style, and who am I to judge? So anyway, I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.